Okay, yeah, we're live. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Ink and Lore. We are your hosts, a gaggle of 5 authors who are all writing fantasy books. And I am Miranda, and
I'm Erin.
this is Erin. And we have
I'm
Kate.
Cassie.
Say hi, Kate.
Hello.
And Cassie. Say hi, Cassie.
Hello.
And then we have Lexi as well.
Hi.
Hi. She's like, hey. But we are just chatting about our experience of being authors and also just all things books. And last episode, we had fun talking about some books that we love and then also books that we've DNF'd, which was really funny. And then this episode, we're going to kind of chat a little bit more because we're all in this space of not having really published our own works quite yet. And so we're going through this journey, all of us together, and all of us are in kind of different spaces of time in that journey of writing and then publishing and getting it in the hands of people to actually read. So we thought we would take people through this journey and shed some light on what we've experienced, what we've learned, maybe something that has been semi-tortuous going through this, or something that like we just didn't anticipate happening. So let's start off, Kate, with your journey, because we had something fun that happened this week and we were just discussing like what she should possibly do with it. So why don't you share the class, what you learned this week?
Well, I just have to start off by saying that I had no idea about what it exactly was required as somebody in this space. You know, I have a health background. I'm a nurse anesthetist, so I was very out of my depth with this whole writing situation. So I thought that all I had to do was write the book and finish the manuscript, and then I could just send it out and
Pass it along.
put it in the ether, and somebody would reply and say, "Oh my goodness, I would love to publish this." And that is not the situation. Quickly realized that I have to write the book, I have to edit the book, I have to read it again and edit it, and possibly read it again and edit it, and then I have to find literary agents within my genre, research the literary agents, and make a query package. So that whole thing has just been quite a lot. So I don't know if anybody is listening that is currently querying, but it is not for the faint of heart. And I have been rejected many times already, and it has not been the easiest thing, I will say, for my type A, personality. It's very difficult to deal with rejection. So just have to make a point on that.
And like, if you can explain, like, because a lot of, like, for me, I didn't know, well, what the heck's a query? You know what I mean? Like, I came into it, I was like, I just thought it was like some big Facebook group, and I just dumped my manuscript, and like, it was like a free for all, like whoever wanted it, you grab it.
Yeah.
And that is not.
That's what I thought too. And I saw like this word query letter online, and I had no idea what it was. And then I finally researched it, and it's like your basically like your pitch, your elevator pitch with some open-ended things it like makes you have to capture a literary agent's attention within 30 seconds or they're just going to swipe right through it. Right. So writing that query letter, one thing I will say that I regret about my querying process is I didn't realize that you weren't supposed to send like a ton at once. Like I did not know that. Like totally didn't know it.
I didn't know that.
I sent like 15 of them all with the same letter, and then as I like kept reading through my letter, I was like, oh, maybe I should like change this about that and like edit some of my chapters more, and then my letter changed and then I liked it better. But then you can't query somebody again after you've already queried, which I also didn't know. You can't re-query
forever or for a certain period of time.
For a certain period of time. It's usually like 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like kind of like do or die. Like if they don't like it, then you're done. And then when I sent all those letters at once, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I sent like 5 and then waited.
Like kind of tested it out.
Had like a little more patience with it. But I was like so excited that I made a query letter and I had the package that I just like jammed 15 query letters out into the ether. And I definitely regret that. So if you're querying and you're thinking about getting started, just send like 5.
Kind of pace yourself a little bit.
and then just see if you get feedback. I mean, I didn't get any actual feedback for my rejections. I have like 8 of them, and I didn't get anything like helpful, but I still feel like going back and rereading my letter, I made edits that were better. So I just would like have taken my time with it a little bit more, kind of.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever like make your query letter more personalized to the person that you're actually sending it to?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've like researched each agent and like made notes about each one and what they were like looking for in their little bios. Like they have like their wish list, what they like compelling, reluctant protagonists and oppression and unique voices, stuff like that. Like pick out, I don't know if they actually really like that or if that's just something
That's what I've heard.
I feel like they do.
I mean, I feel like if you make it like slightly more personal instead of it just being like a copy paste thing, I think they can tell that you put a little bit of effort into getting to
thought
know.
into it.
And for anyone listening to, like, what we're talking about with querying is for traditional publishing route.
Right.
So there's 2 real routes of publishing, and one's independent where you basically are in charge of everything, and we can kind of talk about like pros and cons of all that. And then traditional publishing is where a publishing house, like the Big 5, one of them picks you up and decides, I'm going to put money behind you. You get book deals, you get paid, you might get royalties on the books that you sell, and they do all of the like publishing, footing the bill for that up front so that you don't have to pay for it. And a lot of times they'll even pay like for your editor and stuff. So you really don't even have to do like a hard edit of your book. So that's kind of what we're talking about is querying. There's this lovely little website called Query Tracker, and you go on there and you find agents related to who are looking and open for commission related to your genre. And it looks like something made out of the 80s, like straight up. I was like, where are we? Like, can we not update this even a little bit?
That's funny.
I don't think it'll ever change.
I don't think so.
Another website that I really like is Manuscript Wishlist. I don't know if any of you have looked at that. But there's a lot of people who aren't on Query Tracker. Like I found a couple of agents who aren't on Query Tracker and they have what they're looking for as well. Like you just type in, the little search bar, like if your book is romantasy, like just type romantasy and then all agents that are looking for that will come up. And I really like that one too, because it has a little bit more about the agents on there as well, because Query Tracker is a little agent. For sure.
You have to go to their website and find the agent, and then like it's not all in one place. Like it's like for instance, it took you an hour to do 3.
Yeah.
It took me at least an hour to do send 3 queries. And that was essentially because that's the other thing is there's not a standard process. So like every literary agent requests different things and different amounts of different things. Like I had one of them that was like, I want a cover letter, not a query letter, a cover letter, the title page of your book, the first 3 chapters, and a synopsis, and it all has to be in one Word document. And I'm just like, cool. So I had to
like a school assignment.
It's like time consuming. You got to copy and paste all that stuff. You got to put it all in one document. You got to make sure that everything's like spelled out the way that they want it spelled out and all that kind of stuff. So by the end of it, and you're trying to do it to the best that you possibly can, it's time consuming. And on top of that, in Query Tracker, some of them will let you submit it directly through Query Tracker, whereas other ones you have to physically email it to them. So
just like fine print.
Super nice. Super
It's a Query Tracker, and what was the other one that you said, Lexi?
Manuscript Wishlist.
I'm just writing this down in my notes for later.
I'm like seriously taking notes. I'm
like, well, just
It's like the other thing about Query Tracker, and I don't think it's a great feature because I'm obsessed with it, is you can see the timeline of their access to their submissions.
I feel like they shouldn't do that. That's just torture.
Like reject, and then it'll be like your like
up next.
They're gonna look at mine, and then I reject it.
Yeah.
Impending doom.
Like these little smiley faces, and then they're like
And they're
They're
frowning.
sad face. They're mad face. They're mad. They're
like-
not even sad.
They're like
sad
sideways.
faces.
Really?
They're like,
I'll
not
picture
time.
you.
Yeah, they're like nice
Real-
try.
Horrible.
Real mood booster for sure.
Right.
When you get on there. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
then-
open it up and you got the orange frowny face. Like, oh, I love it.
Love it. And then it
Dang.
also is it's a waiting game. It's a very long waiting game. So and what's funny is I had submitted a query and they got back to me within like it was like a week and a half or something. It was really fast.
That's
And
quick.
then I've got like I've only done 5 because I had read somewhere, Kate, that you should only do like a handful to start with and see.
I'm
like,
glad you did.
I know, but you were so excited. I mean, I
was
wanted
so
to
excited.
send more, but I was like, I need to wait.
Yeah.
So
Good thing you did.
I know. So they're all still sitting there, and their timeline was like anywhere from, I think it was like 8 weeks to like 20 weeks. It was a really
Okay.
long.
My favorite is when it says, if we haven't responded in 120 days, consider this a polite pass.
Right. Like,
Oh,
thank you.
that's nice.
Like, a polite pass? Like,
So polite.
for my throat? Choking.
20 days. Oh my word!
Yeah.
Like I would have written you off on my own. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
I forgot about you.
I forgot you
Thank
existed.
you.
Who is this?
Oh gosh.
So
Oh my
funny.
gosh. Yeah.
I have a
so-
question for you
yeah.
that have been querying. Do either or any of you have like, they talk about the big 5. Do any of you have it narrowed down to like ones that you only go for, or are you like, it's just wide open? It's more so like you're tailoring it to the agent.
It's more the agent for me.
Okay.
I do creep, which this also adds into how much. Kate probably does this too because we're very similar in our brain space. But I'll creep on the publishing house and I'll see what have they published.
Yeah.
And I'm if the predominant amount of books that they've published are like cutesy romance, like I know they're not like. In my brain, I'm like, well, maybe you're not the right
That's not the fit. Yeah.
for me. So I try to at least make sure they have some sort of fantasy that they
Right.
Yeah.
If all the covers on their website are like children's
Beach
books
reads.
or like beach reads, I'm like,
Yeah.
they're not going to want me. Like,
Yeah.
I am like castles and blood and war, and nobody's going to want that.
blood and war and depression. Side note, I had my husband read the first, I went on that writing sprint and I wrote in my second book and I was like, come sit down and read this. Cause he's been, he's shoved into this, whether he likes it or
Yeah.
not. So I was like, come read this. I just want to see like what you think and all that. So he's sitting down and he's reading it and he's just like, man, this is dark. And I'm like,
He's like, are you okay?
What you're going for.
You're happy, right?
he goes, her internal thoughts, like it's a little scary. And I'm like, oh, check box.
You're like, yes.
I'm like, yes, I have succeeded.
I was writing another book before the one that I'm currently doing, and I let my mom read it, and she told me the exact same thing. She was like, Cassie, are you okay? Because it was like a psychological thriller, and she was like, are you okay?
Oh my God.
My husband literally was like, so what's the rest of the plot? He was like telling, he made me like tell my whole outline, and I'm like, and then they die, and then they get killed off, and then I was like rattling all these off, and he's like, really? And I said, yeah, and then she does this at this part, and then it'll go into book 3, and he's like, haven't you put her through enough?
Haven't you?
Poor girl.
I have not.
Does everybody let their significant others read their stuff?
Oh yeah, my husband is my beta reader for sure.
My
Is he?
Read.
Oh, I won't let my husband touch it. Oh no.
Another
No,
opinion.
no.
Yeah.
No, he why? There's a long list. I can't handle like too many opinions. How do I say this nicely? I just don't respect his opinion. I'm like, you don't read
He's like,
books.
let me rip that
I'm
Band-Aid off.
like, you read articles on your phone. That's not the same. I'm like, I just don't want him to feel like he has to like say a certain thing. And then, cause then I'll spiral, I'll get in my head and I'll be like, well, did he like it? Like, or was he just like placating me? Like that type of thing. So I just like, we keep it separate. When I get that thing bound and it's ready to hand over, I'll be like, yeah, you can read it.
You can read it. Now that it's done and it's in print, you can read
Not
it.
till it's done.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I love that.
It'll probably take him 2 years to read my book, actually, because he's not a reader.
Reader. Yeah.
Aaron, I
My
feel like you
husband
and I are
thinks
very
he
similar
does
in that.
read. like but his genre, like he'll read like nonfiction.
Yeah.
And like that is not, I cannot jive with that. I already live in the real world and it's hard. I don't want to live in some boring world. So I'm like, nope. So he reads that stuff, and then he'll read like Western themed, like action fiction-y kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, that's, okay, all right, so you kind of have an understanding. But he doesn't truly understand like the fan, especially not romantasy. Like no. So yeah, I can understand that. I think that would be a valid reason.
He's 100% supportive. Like it's cute actually, but he doesn't need to read it yet.
You just don't need to read it right now. Yeah.
It's fine. It lives in here. That's fine.
So Kate's in her querying process. Kate has finished her novel, right? Like, are you 100% finished? Like, you're done editing and everything? Or are you still in those depths?
I like to say that I'm done editing, but I still go back into it and I just keep rereading it.
Yeah.
I just keep going over it over and over again and like, because in my head it's like never going to be perfect, so I just keep going back because I feel like I can't move on to the next book until I have like other things lined up, like the ARC reader situation and the newsletter and the book design cover and the editing, like professional editing. I just feel like I can't move on unless I've finished. So.
Which that's a whole other. Well, we were like, now that we've gone down these rabbit holes.
Yeah.
So querying, we talked about that. So Kate queried, like she's in that process. But then also we were chatting about how you have had a lot of interest in people wanting to be an ARC reader for you. And in the phase that you're in right now, like talking about like how that kind of like shook you to your core a little bit in a good way. It's like such a good thing. But
it is such a good thing. I'm like so thankful for it, but I just wasn't expecting it. Like I posted a video on TikTok about the algorithm and if you like know the algorithm, like you'll love my book. And then I just gave like little snippets of what it was about. And I've never had so many people contact me in my whole entire life about this book. And people are like, I looked it up on Kindle and I can't find it. And I've looked up Barnes & Noble and I can't find it. Like, where is this book? And I'm like, it's on my laptop. Like, I'm there for you to read. I'm so sorry. I didn't think this was going to really pop off.
This is not my plan.
Not my plan. Yeah.
Yes, I was overwhelmed by joy, but I was also like overwhelmed by like, oh my God, I need to like get going with this. Yeah. So I was, before when we were chatting before our podcast, like we always do, I was asking my lovely ladies here whether I should, start ARC read applications, newsletter, and we came to the consensus that I would put out a newsletter and then I would do the ARC reading situation. By the way, I did not know what ARC reading was. Like
I did not when I started this process. Well, I take that back because I kind of had posted as a book talker for a hot minute before I started writing, and I got to be an ARC reader for someone that I met through the space. So I understood like the concept of being one. I did not understand
the role of it,
obtaining them, or like what the biggest what was the goal, like I was like, oh, free book, and I got to read this book, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what this is for. So to explain in layman's terms for people who don't understand, like my father-in-law who's probably listening to this, so beta readers,
parents, hi mom and dad.
I know, it's like, hey mom, hey dad.
My dad's a YouTube subscriber to this channel.
So cute.
Hi Kate's dad, we're so glad you're special shout out to Kate's dad. But beta readers, so at one point during your writing journey, if you are thinking about becoming a writer, you will likely at some point want someone other than your spouse or yourself to read your book. So in that process, there are people called beta readers that you can get, and then there are ARC readers. So beta readers are people who you kind of put a lot of trust in, I think, because they're kind of helping you shape your book beyond like the really crude first draft that you have. At least that was my intention when I had my beta readers, is I need you to point out plot holes, point out when things don't make sense. I need you to help me, even with like endings and like big things. I was asking for input from my beta readers, and it helped me realize some things that I needed to fix and tweak before I even went like really heavy deep into editing or anything like that. So that's kind of beta reader situation, which something I learned in this process that is a lesson learned, will not do again. Don't take too many beta readers, because
too many cooks in the kitchen.
Way too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many hands in the pot.
Too many hands in the pot. So it was funsies for about 10 seconds. And then
she had 13,000 comments.
There's that many.
No joke. Thousands of comments on your draft from like one beta reader, and then you've got I took too many. And I'm telling myself this in the future as well. So I took 10, which is too many. It's too many. I should have taken 2. I should have had 2. So I'm like telling everyone this listening.
2.
Okay.
2 max, please. 2 I think is good, because you're gonna get 2 different personalities. You're gonna get maybe 2 different like opinions, and just like Erin said, you can just totally diss all of the opinions and do whatever you want to with your book. But when you have 10 people bombarding you with all the things, it was incredibly overwhelming.
Yeah.
I felt like pressured almost to change a lot of parts and pieces of my book. Now, if there was like a general consensus from like 6 of the beta readers that like something needed to be fixed, I fixed it. Yeah. But there was a lot of personality that came out, and, you know, just things that certain people liked and certain people didn't like, and it was too much. So lesson learned. ARC readers are a different situation. So Lexi, why don't you talk about ARC readers?
Me?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I don't have any yet for my book.
Yeah, like whenever that time comes, like just for the layman's terms, like for anyone who's never done this before, like if you were to tell them what an ARC reader was, what would you say?
Well, they're basically just, you know, like advanced readers for your book before it gets published, just to kind of, I know a lot of people will post it like on like Goodreads and stuff too, so that like the ARC readers can review the book, just to kind of like get the hype, you know, more, like just more hype, more people to read your book and to kind of like say the rating. And then you just have more before you go
have a foundation before you're selling it.
Foundation. Yes, right. Exactly. So it's just advanced readers before you publish.
And I feel like that's helpful, because that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I guess am I the first one who's got ARC readers?
Yes.
In the group. So I'll be your guinea pig.
You are mother anyway.
You are
mother.
Mother may fail. So we'll see. Yeah. So I'm in the ARC reader process.
How's that going so far?
That's fun.
Is it actually?
Is it fun?
It is. I probably am too type A about it. So, which I feel like we all are.
What don't you like about it though?
This call. So I opened up one round of ARC reader applications like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so my first thing that I was like, how many do I take? I'm like, how many do you take? Because there's this like conflicting, because I'm doing the independent author route. So I'm pursuing, you know, I'm also querying for funsies to see if that goes anywhere, but I'm just like, I'm just going to publish it myself. And when you independent publish, you foot the bill for everything, and that is not so fun.
Quite expensive.
But everyone's like, like makes me want to vomit a little bit. But the ARC readers I opened up like a few weeks ago, and then I ended up, my editor, I was like, I need to give this more time than I anticipated. So Kate, like, lesson learned from me, I think starting with a newsletter for you is great, because then you're giving yourself more time for the editing process. Because I have now done, this will be my 4th draft that I'm getting back from my editor, and then I'm done. Like, I've decided I'm done. Like, I don't care if there's a typo. It doesn't matter. I'm done. I don't want to look at this anymore. I've read it 500 times. I'm done. So I should have just waited. I should have just waited for the ARC reader application, but whatever. I digress. So that was my first question. It was like, how many do you take? And I actually posted a thread, because I'm on Threads too. So I posted a thread, and I was like, asking other independent authors, I was like, how, you know, for those who have successfully launched and sold their books independently, how many ARC readers did you take? Mm-hmm. And it was literally 2 polar opposite opinions. One opinion was, I took like 100, you know, like I took, you know, 100. or 200 or whatever. And then the other one was like everyone who asks
Who wants it?
Be an ARC reader. And it was like, okay, how many is everyone? And like one woman responded and she's like, I had 6,000 people be my ARC readers. And I'm like,
no.
Then who bought
What?
that?
who buys your book
Who buys
then?
the
Yeah,
book?
why?
You
Why
are
would you
buying
do
6,000
so many?
copies then. That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
And
do
so
1,000 and make 5,000 sales.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
Right.
like, it did not compute with me. So that didn't make sense. I was like, I'm like, yes, I want everyone to be able to have a chance to read it and be an ARC reader. I'd love to like be able, but I also like, I kind of do want to make some money off of it.
Mhm.
Like I invested in it. I at least like to break even.
Yeah.
You know what
It's a
I
lot of
mean?
work, you know?
It's a lot of work, and I would also like to break even for what I've invested in it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, where do I, do I just split the middle? Like, what do I do? So I finally decided, I was like, I went on Reddit forums. I mean, I was deep diving into this, and I finally was like, okay, I'm just going to take like between 100 and 200, because usually, like, if you think about statistically, if you send out 10 birthday invitations, 5 people show up, right? It's 50% generally. So I'm like, okay, if I accept 200, probably 100 people will read it and
Right.
review it for
Oh
me.
yeah.
You need like
A
a
little
little
buffer.
cushion.
Yeah, like a buffer. So
Mhm.
I decided to do 200. I was like, that's going to be like hard and fast. That's going to be my, I don't care how many people apply, I'm going to do 200. So then that was the kind of difficult part, is once I did get applications, it's like, who do you give that to? Right?
Because you
Like,
have to
who
select.
You have to select people, and I had 500 people apply. So
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
I mean, that's awesome. I'm like so pumped. Like, that's exciting. But I have
Mhm.
300 people out.
Do you just randomly pick, or do you kind of like vet?
Because I'm very type A. So
Yeah.
I literally went down this. I don't know if I recommend this or not. This is what's it's taken me like over a week to go through everything.
Your little
Like,
detective.
sheet, because I've been going through, because one of the questions I asked, and this is from my marketing perspective, is like, I am going to pick people because I'm giving you a free copy of my book. I'm going to pick people who at least like to read on social media.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's a good starting point.
I don't think that's anything out of the ordinary.
But you would be surprised how many people apply to be ARC readers that like you go and creep on their social media profiles, or even their Goodreads or something, and they've not posted anything related to books. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, like, why are you doing it? Just to get a free book, I guess?
Because you get a free book.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Because they
I
wanna
mean,
read
great
it.
for you, but not for me.
Right. Right.
So I went through and vetted everyone.
Now, did you also vet their following?
I did. So I
Of course
mean,
you did.
Like, honestly, like, you want people with a following, right? Like, that's
Mhm.
what I did, because this is how I feel also, like, being in the marketing space, this is also how I feel. Like, if someone, because there's certain, you guys, I know, other than the creepy old people that you get on your profile, everyone has like one creepy old guy, like he's creeping on everyone. But if you probably have like these, like, I have a couple of like girls who are just like my girls.
The hype girls.
Other
Yeah.
than you guys, like, I have a handful of them that they're liking every post.
Yep.
They've commented on everything. They've been there from the get-go. They send me direct messages like, I can't wait for this book.
Yes.
And they may only have like 500 followers or like 100.
They deserve it.
And I'm like, you get a book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
100%.
a couple of them, especially on Instagram, they'll send me, like, they'll reply to my stories and they'll like vote on my polls and everything. And a couple of them don't have a huge following. And I'm like, I'm going to give you a physical copy, because you have been my like cheerleader this whole time. And I can't imagine giving it, to anyone less,
100%.
So that was part of my vetting process, was
Right.
like the ones who've been there with me from the get-go, like in the trenches, those people will definitely get a copy, whether it be physical or KDP. And
Yeah.
then I also vetted based on, like, do you even review or talk or even have an interest
In
Mhm.
reading?
So don't give it to my husband.
I know, it's like, so yeah, so that was part of the vetting process, because this is like, as an independent author,
Right.
you rely heavily on social media
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
your book.
Yeah.
The other thing I did, and this, I might get slack for this, I don't know, I don't care. One of the things I did in my application process to be an ARC reader is I made a stipulation that, like, the only thing I ask from you in return for this free copy of my book is that you do some sort of review for me, preferably a combination of Goodreads and then one post on social media. It doesn't have to be
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like that's part of
the deal.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be part of the deal.
That's kind of why you're doing
wild is like you'll go through there and I'm looking at my application and like I had a section where people could mark like, yes, I'm cool doing that, or no, I don't really want to do that. And you would
And there were no's?
Part. And I'm like, I can't give it to you.
So yeah, they just really are in it for the freebie book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my journey thus far. So I actually just got an email like before we hopped on from my editor. So she's looking at my book right now. She's looking at it for the last time. And then I will probably get it back, she said, by like midweek next week. And then it goes to my formatter, which this is a new thing I'm using because this is another lesson I've learned. You can't just slap your Word document into Amazon KDP and it just prints it for you.
Yeah.
So who are you going through for formatting?
So I'm going to like tell you specifically so that I'm not lying to you. So
I want to write it down.
It is called Enchanted Ink. Enchanted Ink. They are who I'm using for formatting because I got recommended to use them from another independent author that I follow on Instagram. Okay. And her interior of her book looks fabulous. Okay. So they do covers too.
Okay.
And they do like a little bit of everything, honestly. So I would check them out. Yeah.
No,
and they're very reasonable. I was really pleased with the process so far. So they will format the inside of my book.
Okay.
Everything from like chapter headings to like author bio to making sure like it's 6x9 print size,
nice and neat,
blah, 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 right? So yeah.
Miranda, I have a question about your cover. Do you are you going to have the published cover on your ARC reading copies?
Yes,
because I researched it and I found some things that said that you don't need the book to be like the published version.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like,
yeah, so like
a different version for the ARC read.
Yeah, so having the illustrate, you like, if in all honesty, I could go down to Staples and like print a bunch of copies, and just give it to my ARC readers. But or send it like KDP, like just send it. But and I've been an ARC reader for Sophia Germain. I don't know if you know who she is. She's an independent author. She's done so well. She is a fantasy author, and she has a book, A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly. And it's like a 3-series. It's so good. She writes like Sarah J. Maas. Like you should. Anyway, I'm an ARC reader for her, and I have been since she started like her books. It's like my one flex that I can say like that book community. But when I got my copy for her ARC read for her second book, it had everything. It was like as if it was going to press. Okay. So I like that because it makes your ARC readers feel
excited,
special.
Right.
Yeah, they're special.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you had to do anything special for the ARC read version, like if it had to specifically say that it was an ARC read or
no. So you can't
in any way.
Do that. Like you can put like a banner across, and say like that's for an ARC read
or like a watermark or something.
Because there are terrible people who pirate and do wild stuff with your book. So that does make me nervous a little bit. That kind of stuff. I mean, I hate that.
I feel like if you're really vetting people, you're not going to have.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's another reason my type A personality. I was like, I gotta.
Yeah, no, smart way to do it.
So yeah, that's where. So I'll just keep everyone on, the journey with me and keep you updated on how this all goes down. Because ARC readers will hopefully be sent out probably in the next week or two.
So exciting.
I'm gonna give. So this was something else, and I appreciate opinions of like how much time do you give ARC readers to read? Because like I can finish a book in like 24 hours if you let me. But how long do you? Has anyone ever been an ARC reader? Has anyone else been an ARC reader for anything here? No.
I don't think I would be a very good one because I'm a very slow reader.
Same.
Yeah.
I think they would get frustrated with me.
I made my ARC application today, and I was going to give them like 3 to 4 weeks.
I did 4 weeks. That's what
I could even do that. So you're good.
A month.
Because the 2 ARC readers, the 2 authors I've been ARC readers for, they asked for like feedback or Goodread reviews and Amazon reviews within 4 weeks.
So then does the copy disappear?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's
They just have that amount of time to finish and leave the
yeah,
review
it's
that
like
they agreed
before
to.
public launch, like I'm asking that you get this done in 4 weeks, and like as part of the agreement of being an ARC reader is like post about it, post on social media, post on Goodreads within the next 4 weeks. And I feel like that's reasonable.
That's reasonable.
I think so.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. That's me. I feel like I'm real deep down.
You are deep. So fun to watch though. As somebody who's like on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, it's like it's so exciting to see like what all goes into it, because like I had no idea
Right.
half this stuff, like not even half, like less than half. And then you get on TikTok and it's like you learn a little bit more and you're like, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? And you start following like other indie authors and you see like, oh, Street Team, and you're like Googling what that means. And so like you just collect these little pieces along the way, and then to get to know all of you guys. And we're like kind of all in different stages, which is fun. And it's just exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I figured out what a PA is. I was like physician assistant immediately before I going went. And I was like, why are
Wait, what is a
physician
PA?
assistants
I
helping
just
with,
thought of
like,
prior authorization, so.
or that, you know?
What
I'm
is
like,
it?
It's a publishing assistant.
Wow.
So I have a publishing assistant. She helps me like 1 hour.
Fancy.
What does she do?
I had to look it up too. I was like, do I need one of these? Like,
I
what
know.
is this for? With like maintain, like keeping up with all these ARC. So like there's some of these ARC readers didn't give me their mailing address and they want a physical copy, and I want them to have a physical copy because like that's how I vetted them and all this stuff. Because I picked like out of the 200, I picked 25 or 30 that get a physical copy,
Mhm.
right? Because that's, you know, so I have to like ship them, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, I don't have teleportation powers, so I have to ship them. Well, many of those people who filled out the application just skipped the mailing address part, right? So I'm like, you know, you have to hunt this down and like all this stuff. And then I want to go and I want to get my book in like local bookstores
Mhm.
around me. And then I also want to go to book events. And
Yeah.
I don't know how to do any of that.
We should
So
all go
she
to
helps organize that.
She's like reaching out to local bookstores for me. She also is reaching out to book influencers for me.
Mhm.
So like big name people who
Oh, this is great. See, I learned something new.
Yeah,
she texts me. I have like a shared note with her because I'm all about Apple Notes. So I have a shared note with her and I'm like, these are things that I want or need help with and that I
And she
either
just kinda
don't want to
takes it.
do or I don't know how to do, but I want to do them. So she like knows all of it. And how I found her was through Threads. Threads is like prime for finding random stuff.
I love that.
But I found her on there and she's a mom of like 2. She does this as like part of her, like what she does from home. And she's been doing it for a while. And she was recommended from another independent author. And I just, you know, she's kind of like my babysitter.
That's awesome.
My babysitter.
For me, she's my babysitter. Like she babysits
Amazing.
me. So that's something else I didn't know about.
I didn't know that either.
Me either.
Something else I learned too. I'm just like word vomiting, but something else I learned too is illustrators, artists, illustrations. That evidently is a big thing that you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
They're
Yes,
so
it is.
expensive.
Finding good ones is hard that aren't scams.
Yeah.
Right.
That
on.
aren't scams.
They're not scams. I got scammed hard.
No.
I was just telling my mom about that and I showed her the pictures. Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Was crying. Like I almost peed myself when that came over in
It's
the
so
email.
good.
And I was like,
I think you should print it and frame it. That needs to be remembered. Put it in your bathroom.
I could show everyone on a podcast like this way, I would. But, and you know, it's my fault. But
Did you say anything? Did you
What?
Did you verbally say like what?
I was very
heck
nice.
is-
So I was nice, but I was very professionally firm. So whenever they emailed me, you know, so I found them, didn't vet them enough. I just took the word off of like what they had posted on Instagram. I found them on Instagram. So on Instagram, I was like looking at their profile and I was like, well, this looks legit. It looks like kind of like a vibe that I'm going for. I specifically was looking for artists that didn't have a ton of followers, because what I found really quickly, something else I learned, what I found really quickly whenever I was like, I want to have illustration for my book because that is just part of it. It's just part of it. It's part of the process. It's part of marketing. It's something I want to do. It's what indie authors do. I feel like I need to do this. So I started looking, and all of the ones that have lots and lots of followers, rightly so, I'm not saying this is wrong, but they charge an arm and a leg. And I've already sold a kidney for my editing. I need my other one, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, I can't be shelling out $600, $800 for one illustration. No. I'm not being facetious, and that's fine. Like, I'm not shamed. Like, nobody come at me, right? Like, that's fine. If you've built up your repertoire to that point where you can charge that amount and people will pay it, kudos to you. I'm clearly in the wrong field, right? So I was like, I'm trying to find some artists that are maybe not as well known, who are trying to build up their reputation. And those were the ones I was getting more price points that I was like, okay, I could do that. I could sell my eggs and could afford that one. So I was like, okay, cool. So I found one, and then I messaged them and started the conversation on Instagram, moved to email. And basically it was like, which this is pretty standard, is you have to either give a deposit, or the ones that scared me a lot were like, you have to pay everything up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. I don't think I would do that one.
So I was like, okay, deposit, I can understand that. So I put down my deposit, and the black and white sketch came back first, and it looked promising. I was like, okay, all right, okay. So I was like, okay, cool, this looks great. Yeah, just go ahead, move forward with I learned this as well. So there's like coloring it in, and there's something called rendering. So rendering is where you make it look more real. And I was like, I want rendering. Like, I made all that up front. All that was like, and then you guys saw
It was so cute.
For a children's book, it was adorable.
It would be perfect.
It was literally something out of a children's book. It was clearly AI.
Clearly
AI.
Yeah.
And I'm like maybe drew over it.
Yeah.
Like, my gosh. So I got that back. I was sitting right here when I opened that up, and I was like,
you're like, is this a joke?
So then I was like crying / laughing at the same time. And then I was like, this is not real. So then I sent back an email because they were asking for the final payment. Nope. And I was like, unfortunately, I will not be moving forward with this project.
Seriously.
I said, I was nice, but I was like, basically, I said, this looks nothing like what you have on Instagram.
Promised me.
If you are trying to build a business off of AI scam work, I hope you sleep with one eye open.
Honestly, like, so unfortunate though.
It was so disappointing because as an author, like, you look forward to those little things,
it's
just like your book cover and stuff. And
well,
so
especially whenever you pay for
it. And then I got that, and I was like, holy crap. Yeah, I disputed the transaction like through PayPal. Thankfully.
Good.
Also, good. I haven't heard anything yet, so we'll see. I might have to eat it, but yeah. So anywho, those are things I've learned.
All the lessons.
Lots of lessons. So Erin is in writing progress.
Writing mode.
How many words are you at now?
I'm at like 30,000. So I'd say about a third of the way done. I'm trying to aim for 100. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. We'll see. It's funny because I feel like it's slow, but then I remind myself I started in April and I'm just like, well, that's not that bad. Like, I mean,
Erin, I started 10 years ago.
I know. I think about that and I'm like, okay, like, I'm fine. Like, I can chill out. But no, it gets exciting because like I have so many, I want to get to this one part and like I'm ready for that. And I'm so excited because then I just think it's going to like pour out of me. But I'm in this one little section and like I'm in a slump right now. It's hard. And over the summer, it was really hard because I have 2 kids and they're home with me. And it was not a priority. I tried to make it one, but that didn't go well. So you know, with my whole, like, I don't really have like a writing process. I don't have a timeline. I don't have like anything other than I want to write a book. Like, that is my goal. And I would love to have it in people's hands. And so that's the goal that comes after the writing part. But I'm trying to really keep it centered around like that it makes me feel good and it's joyful, because that's why I started. Like, you guys get this. Like, there's so many people that get this, but that first child or that first daughter syndrome, the chronic overachiever, I'm like, if I let myself go and do my thing to it, it will no longer be fun. And I am like resisting, digging my heels in, slowing down, because I don't want that to happen. So, and there's other things too. Like, we've talked about it a little bit, and this I could go in depth because it's actually like a tie to fantasy books of how I know I have this, but I have a chronic illness. And so, well, a couple of them. And so that plays a part in it too. I can only give so much. And most days that all goes towards my kids and my family. And so the writing is kind of the thing that gets, you know, put on the bottom of the list, unfortunately. So I just kind of have to like, I'm just a mood writer. I'm a mood reader. I'm a mood writer. It's like when it flows, I just go with it, but I definitely do not force it. You know, you see so much where it's like consistency, like even if it's 200 words a day, well, sometimes that's not even possible for me. So, I just go with where it wants me to. And I had asked you girls, for people listening, kind of like what you guys do, because I tend to write in order, like obviously, like chapter order, because I'm kind of, what do they call it? A pantser? Is that what they call it? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
A pantser? Yeah. I think it comes from like, a what? I gotta look it up. It's a pantser. It's like you don't like, I have like major plot points like planned out, but I sit down and I start a chapter and shit happens that I did not know was going to happen. Like, I just like, I think it comes from like, from the seat of your pants. Like,
that's how I am.
Isn't that like a specific type of writer though?
There's another name for it. There's like,
talking about, but it's like
there's two names.
You don't have like an outline. You just kind of
I have an outline. Like, I know generally what happens in each chapter, but there's stuff that pops up and I'm like, okay, well, now that's part of it. Like, so I can't go like out of order too much, because I'll have to redo everything. Because then when I go back, something will happen and I didn't see it coming. And then I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So I do have to write in order, and I just have to be patient.
I love that though, because that just is like, because we talked about like how we got into this, and a lot of it was for like therapeutic reasons.
Yeah.
And so if you destroy that with like this urge to just pump this book out and, you know, whatever, I think that just defeats the purpose.
It defeats the purpose. Exactly. And like, it's such a form of therapy for me, which, you know, there's a lot of like family of origin stuff and themes in my book. And so that takes some time to like, am I ready to like kind of bring this up or revisit this and channel it? And, you know, there's a lot of like disconnect from those things in my real life. And so to kind of like bring back like chapter 4, you guys read, like that was daddy stuff. Like that was, I had to sit there and like revisit some of that. And like, how would this read in her world? You know, it's very familiar.
That was like so beautifully written though.
Thanks.
Like, I don't know if you realize, like when I was reading that, I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah, that one felt good.
The terms in your like story, like what you call it. And
yeah,
it was so well done. So I mean, you did such a good job.
You. That's so nice. Yeah. So that has to like, again, with the mood, I have to be in a creative mindset, which means I can't be in fight or flight due to kids or illness. I can't be in a space where like I'm not ready to revisit that stuff, because it is such a theme kind of woven into it. It's not overwhelming like in the plot, but it's there, and it has like, that's part of her arc. And so yeah, I have to kind of just like let it do its thing and unfold. And it could be in a year I could be done at this rate, or it could be, you know, longer. I don't know. So I keep telling myself I can't have a timeline.
Yeah.
Or it'll steal the joy from me. So
just becomes like not fun at that point. And I think it's because all of us have approached it from this way of therapy. Like I honestly, like I have cried a lot during my writing process because I'm overcoming my own, past trauma with like problems and all that. And depression, like mine's heavy in depression.
Yeah.
Because I battled that for a long time. And so like coming on the other end of it, and like I'm on the other end, but she's at the beginning.
Exactly.
And like I'm like,
and you just want to like hug them, like you just you want to hold her.
She was in a dark.
You're like, I know.
In a dark place, and that's why my husband was like, "Are you
Good?
sure? Like,
Yeah.
Are you cool? Are you good?" And I'm like, "Yes, this was me like a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember, but I'm cool now." Like, I think that's huge, and that's part of the processing it. And you're almost
my tears are gonna come later. They're gonna come when the MMC is part of things and shifting the perspective, because that's gonna just tug on my heart, because that's my story.
Yeah. I can't wait for it all to be together, and we're just gonna get to read and cry together.
I know, read and cry and cry and read.
Oh my gosh, yes. So Erin is like 30-ish thousand words in, and just going with the flow and getting all those stars to align is really I feel that.
Yeah. Well, and it's fun because like I'm just waiting, because sometimes like it feels forced, but then sometimes like I call it channeling. Like it truly feels like the words are just like coming through me. Like I didn't come up with that. Like it's just like, it just flows. And so I really do want to wait, because we all have read those books where like we know they had a deadline, they were under contract, and you can tell. And I don't want that. Like I would rather make people wait and have it all be from that place. So
yeah, I love that. Love it.
Agree.
Love it. Lexi, do you want to talk about where are you at? Where are you at?
Yeah, so I'm also at about 20,000 words, but I have a couple like other chapters like here and there that are just at, middle or end of the book. But this is my fourth write of the beginning. So I rewrote it the 4 times, and I'm finally like satisfied with the beginning to move on. That's what I did with my last manuscript too, and it kind of just worked the best for me. So I've written like 20 to 30,000 words
4 times.
Yeah. There's that. But I'm finally moving on.
Novel, but not really.
I know. It felt so bad. Like, why I make a copy of the document every time, so I always have like where I started. But it's always so sad to be like, goodbye words. Like, I'll see you next time. But now I'm at the middle, which is always kind of like the hard part, because you want it to be sticky. You don't want your middle to be like boring or lagging, and that's like always the hardest part for me. So I'm kind of in the same spot as you, Erin, where I'm kind of like not having a lot of inspiration right now. And I kind of took basically the whole last week off. And my husband too, he works kind of a different kind of job. He works 770, so he works a week straight, and then he has the whole week off. So on his work weeks, like tonight, I don't know if you could tell my kid is here, but I'm like momming for like a week straight. And so it's hard to get the writing in, it is. Sometimes it feels like an excuse, but sometimes it's hard. And like you were saying, Erin, if you force yourself, then the whole reason that you started doing it in the first place, it's just not, it doesn't feel genuine anymore. So it's kind of where I'm at.
I love that your process too is like not everyone's process is different. And just like Erin was saying, like she kind of has to just kind of go with the flow, but it's in sequence. And then you were like, all right, I had the first part, but and then I have some other chapters here and there that I've already written. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You have other chapters here and there written.
I get an idea, or I get really excited about a scene, and then I quick like write it down, and then I'm just like, I'll title the document like whatever scene it is, and then I'll just figure out where it goes, because I don't know what chapter it is, but it's just like some random scene. And then I'll be like, to do that. I can use that.
I could have killed that person off by the time that scene needs to come in.
You just delete it, right?
Well, mine is the love interest, the couple of chapters that I have. So, I mean, as of right now, he's not getting killed off because we need him. We need some sort of love interest. So
That's what my notes app is for. So like I'll like if I'm in the shower or like, you know, go into the bathroom and I have
You're
like
in the shower,
I'm just like
on your phone.
yes.
Yeah, and that's it.
Well, and I have to say too, because I don't know if something's wrong with me, or maybe this will come later with like editing, but I have not rewritten a chapter yet.
I didn't rewrite.
And so
I did not rewrite anything.
yeah, but it's been so fun because Lexi, I've read all your versions, and then Cassie, you did the same thing, and it's so cool to watch somebody do that though, because it's like the progression of it, and like as the reader, you kind of get to experience like that role, but then think about it in your own work in progress, where it's like, okay, I liked these things about this version of hers, but then I liked this from this and this from this. And so you can kind of like train your brain to like pick out those things of like what a reader is going to like be drawn to. Mm-hmm. And then like for both of you, like where you ended up, I was like cheering, like as I was reading, I was like, oh yes, this is so good. Like, it's just fun to watch, like how it can just progress.
And Cassie, do you write the same way? Where it's like multiple versions, because I think you've had some versions.
Yeah, well, so I started the book that I have now, and it was like it's all like the same characters and kind of basic like of what I know is going to happen later. But I got into it to where I started slow, and I just felt like it just went slow. And I'm like, no, like I can't do this. Like I need to figure out something that's better. And so I just kind of took a break from it for a minute. And I was reading more, and I was trying to really like get into that, like, what do I want this to be? And then and it like just kind of just like, I want something like crazy to happen. I want I want this to be like an aha moment. And I think I got there.
You did. I love the new one.
So
it was so good.
But it was hard to like completely scrap that last one. I have it, so I have a Google Doc of it, and it just says tossed concept, and I'm like, I'm keeping it for a minute. But yeah, so I had to like completely restart over. I think I had like 30,000 words on the one before, and I'm probably around 20 to 30 on this one, and I feel so much better about it. And so just sometimes you have to do that, and I have to remind myself, like what was it? J.K. Rowling like rewrote chapter 1 of Harry Potter like 15 times before she got it right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying mine's going to be perfect, but like it takes time, and it's okay.
It's okay.
Right.
It's part of the process too. Especially for debut authors. It's like you're learning the whole time. So.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like perfecting things over and over again. Like I when I decided to like get an editor, I'm so glad I did that. Like if I could give any advice, like if you spend no money on anything else, like if you hand draw your cover or get your toddler to do it, like fine, but get an editor.
100%.
She picks up on things I would have never thought about.
Yeah. And
then the other thing is like she has helped tighten things that otherwise I would have probably been like, but I love this scene and I want to keep, I mean, I deleted an entire chapter. And my whole heart, I was just like, I saved it. It's like deleted chapter, like in my Google Docs, and I have like a little sad face outside it. I'm like, it's gone.
Well, you could come out with like an exclusive like offer later that has the
there you go. Chapter.
Bonus chapter, yeah.
People love that.
Like where they're just having fun doing something.
Yeah. But what was so funny is like the comment that she made about it was so true. And like I'm like, okay, so what I'm getting at, like going back to what Cassie was saying, is perfecting it to this point, because I sent on a newsletter this week or last week, and I was talking about how it's going to be delayed. Like my idea was to get it published, like physically available on Amazon, like people can buy it the last weekend of September, because that's my birthday weekend. I was like, but the reality of it is that I want it to be as perfect as I can make it, because if you are my ideal target audience of reading my book, which are women, working women who are moms, women who want to pick this up because they want to escape from reality, you're investing time, energy, brain cells, and money into my book. So I feel like I owe it to you to make sure on my end it's as tight as it possibly.
Definitely.
So I pushed that pushed her on back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Nothing
okay.
wrong with that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because it needs to be looked at another time. So
Yeah.
that's just the reality. That's it.
Did you guys, as you were writing, did you guys like reread everything like multiple times? Because I find myself just like rereading every chapter, and I'm like, stop rereading and just write.
No, I can't, because I did that like a couple times, and I went back to like chapter 1 and 2 and I was like, oh, I've gotten better. I'm like, and then I want to edit like in the moment, and I'm like, just wait. So,
I have that problem. I can't just wait. Like, I just touching chapters 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The only thing that I say that I like that I do, which I don't know if anybody else does this, but I'll finish a chapter and then when I wrote this book, I would finish a chapter and send it to my mom because she was like my day one beta. Like, she'd get the chapter, she'd hammer it, she'd call me, we'd have a conversation. So that was like a big thing for me. But what I would do is once I finished the chapter, I got the Speechify app. I don't know if
you were saying that.
And I put my document in the Speechify app, and I pay for the one with the realistic voices. Gwyneth Paltrow is my
I love that.
And I listen to it like while I'm going for a walk, and I just listen to make sure
it
sounds like it flows, like it makes sense, like there's no typos, because she'll make a mistake. Like
if there's a typo.
It's
like so cool.
No comma or no period. So I felt like that helped me because it made it sound more like, oh, if this was an audiobook.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We all know Erin loves audiobooks. But I just felt it was helpful, like, to hear somebody read my story.
Yeah.
It helped me be like, oh, I just need to like go back and quick change that. Mm-hmm. And then it also made me feel really good because it made me pretend that I was reading my own audiobook.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Listening to your own published audiobook.
Yeah.
I love that because I think you even like read, I remember reading a comment from you and when you were one of my beta readers and you were like, I put it in this app so it could
read it. I did, because I didn't make a comment throughout the whole chapter, and you were probably like, what is she doing? But no, I just like listened to it on the train to work, and I was like, oh my god, this sounds like an audiobook. I'm obsessed.
I think that's so cool. It's like a different way to kind of edit your work.
And it's fun, and like if I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh my god, this sounds so great, and I like, okay, yay.
Because that is something I had realized, like when you get into the moment of editing, like when you're done with your first draft and you go back, I did my first edit by myself and then I sent it over to my editor. You get to this point where you've read it so many times and it's
like blind.
I have to remind myself, like, it's not awful, it's not boring, I just have read it 5 times.
Did any of you take a full, because I've heard you're like the way, like brain science wise, to take a full month off and not even look at it, not touch it, nothing.
I took a week.
No.
I
think I'm going to do the month.
I was like I don't want to. I took a week. That's when I read Red Rising. So I took a week, and during that week, I was like, I'm going to read for fun.
Yeah.
So I read the Red Rising trilogy during that week, and it kind of was like a nice little palate cleanser because I got to read, and I not only got to read, I read sci-fi, which I hadn't read in a hot minute, and it's a fantastic series. Highly recommend. But that was what I did. But then I couldn't handle it after. I was like,
you were just itching.
I was like itching for it, and then I was like, I want to get an editor, and that process. You have, once you've found one that you want, I mean, that takes weeks usually to get in with them. So I knew I wanted to get that ball rolling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but no, I think a month would honestly probably be a good idea.
Yeah.
I just am not.
The way my brain works, like when I do go back and reread stuff, like I almost enjoy like editing my own writing more than I like writing it sometimes, because I'm like, oh, this is easy to make better. Like I know exactly what needs to be right here. And so, but I feel like if you give yourself like that time to really like forget it all as much as you can, like it would be fun. But if you have a timeline, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have a time. It's just like I'm like, what's the next step? And then I just do the next step, and I'm very like checklist oriented. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at. But what's been really cool, like I mentioned like earlier, is like when you get to that point where you're done with that first book, and like now I get to work on the next one, and it's so much more. I mean, it was enjoyable the first time, but this time around it's kind of like, one, I'm figuring out how I write and how I can write better, and then two, I already know what to expect down the line of getting to the point where I'm sending it to an editor or I'm publishing it or whatever. So that is pretty cool. I mean, I think he can attest to that too, of like getting into your, more than just your first novel that you've written. I think it.
Well, they say like, just going back to like starting your novel in the beginning, it's like the first time you write it, you're just telling yourself the story. And then when you go back and edit it, you're like, okay, I need to like really focus on making this sound like the human language. And then when you're like done with the first book and you can start the second, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like these characters are kind of like my family, and like real people, and like feel like
where they're going.
Know them, they know where they're going. Other people that are going to read the book know where they're going. Like now it's like, not to say it's the fun part, but
no, that sounds fun. I can't wait till I'm there.
I think that is fun. I think it's fun to like you've gone through this big journey with them, and for, like we've mentioned, it's a healing journey too. So we go through this whole healing journey with them alongside. I feel like I'm like holding their hand and like guiding them through this healing journey. And I get to see like, okay, not in this book, but in the next book, you're
their future.
This, and you're going to experience this, and then you're going to come out on the other side, and you're going to be so much better. And it's, all this, and I'm like,
yeah. No, it's kind of hard. Like I have in my head, like I know how it's all going to end.
Yeah.
I see it's like so clear in my head, but that's still 2 books away.
Yeah.
So it's like you almost get like choked up thinking about it. Like,
oh yeah,
we're on the way, and like I know how all of your stories are going to end, but we just have to fill in the blanks to get there. It's like a really emotional process. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it is. And especially whenever, like I told you, I had my husband read the first part of the second book that I'm writing, and I've introduced a side character that has not been in the first book. And he immediately turned to me when he read the name. He's like, does he die? I'm like,
spoiler.
Do I need to get attached to this person?
But I'm like, just get emotionally attached, and then you'll find out later. But it's cool. It's just neat. This whole process it's very neat, but it's also like some parts of it are like either emotionally draining or a little anxiety ridden, just depending on like what process you're in. Like I'm anxious for different reasons. It has nothing to do with my book. It's more of like, what the heck do I do now? Like how do I physically get it onto, Amazon, and how do I? And then don't even get me started on Ingram Spark. Like, don't even get me started on that Hot Mess Express, because we'll have to do a whole episode on that. That is wild, and that is how people get your book into local bookstores. If you want it to be anywhere besides Amazon, you have to put it on somewhere like Ingram Spark, or there's other ones, but that's the most popular, and it's not easy. So that's a learning curve. We'll figure it out, and I will report. So we've literally chatted about everything under the sun, about what process we're under, like currently in our writing journey. So we're all in different phases, but we will chat more next week about another topic of our choosing. We always choose this topic, usually like it just comes up in conversation of whatever it is that we're going through currently.
Yeah, this is a very raw, authentic situation because we pick it 10 minutes before we...
There's no plan. We're pantsters.
Like, right, this is what we're going through. Yeah. Our group, it was literally just like, what about this? Aaron was like, I like this. And I'm like, yes. And then I had made a logo, and it had an Instagram page, and we were done.
Yeah.
I was just signed and delivered. Let's do this. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to us Gap. I hope that you can subscribe, tell your friends about us, and make sure you're also following each of us individually on TikTok and Instagram so that you can figure out where we're at in our writing journey, and you can read our novels and read our progress and be part of this messiness that is writing and writing fantasy novels. But we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.